Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. 2 more series to go before we conclude our final Monday of regular play. Tetra and I are still going strong. We're still at it, and we've got ourselves another series. It is SPT against TeamNut, and while on paper this may look like a pretty one-sided and clear matter, don't count out the nuts. I think that's one thing we have learned last week as well when they won a game against BTG.
I would agree. TeamNut, they have the potential to try and take some victories. At the moment, I'm still a little bit salty because I tried to tell a joke during that last trailer at the end there, and our comm system decided to shut down when I unmuted my mic. So the world does not want the world does not want that joke to be heard. So it shall forever remain secret.
Can't you tell it now, and everybody on camera or on stream is going to witness it as well?
Sure. It was literally when Underwood throws his sword into the ground. I'm gonna go. You're gonna dull the blade if you keep doing that. That's it. That's all it was gonna be. The world did not want that to be heard.
It was the light shutting you down from making jokes about Charlemagne that is now fueled with light energy.
You're throwing a sword into dirt. You're gonna dull the blade. It's got a scabbard for a reason, Underwood.
Good thing Anduin doesn't rely on weapons necessarily. He's more of a peaceful caster. Although in that trailer he looked more like a paladin. I'm not going to lie to you.
True. That is
Did he pay $60 to Blizzard to have a class swap?
Maybe he did.
I have to investigate
he's got some very expensive armor on. Guy's loaded. So also gold, not a good material to make armor out of. It's not as hard metal.
And it's heavy. I'm not sure if you've ever carried a bag full of gold.
It's heavy, it's soft, it's just not good for weapon or armor.
Like, I've never carried a bag full of gold, but my former chemistry teacher actually used to tell us at school that if you watch an action movie and they're just going to carry a suitcase full of, gold in it, they couldn't even lift it. Most people couldn't lift it because it's so heavy.
It's a heavy metal, so yeah. That's why it's only in fact able to be carried by bands like Lordi and Bullet for My Valentine and Metallica. Those are the only people who can actually carry suitcases full of gold.
All right, let's see if those guys can actually make us admire them like a bag of gold we would. With Melody C being the key player here, coming in for SPT, and Mercy yet again proving his worth. On the TeamNut side, they didn't look good earlier, but they also had to face a pretty tough opponent called CE, who's looking ever so good at the moment.
Yes, they did, but now Melody C is looking to try and catch up to BTG, and we're heading to, for the 3rd time today, Brax's holdout. Has something got in the water back in China? What's going on over there?
I don't know what it is, but I'm loving it because we may yet get to see another awesome game of Brax's holdout. And admittedly, the games have become a little longer and less one-sided, mind you, ever since the objective was changed so that people could no longer abuse just camping and farming the progress on the beacon. So pretty cool to see that nonetheless. And every single time we have played Brax's holdout today, Tetra, we have seen at least 1 or 2 heroes that were a little bit extraordinary. Medivh earlier, for example. Yeah. Let's see what we're going to see this time.
We saw a Zarya as well.
Yeah,
so,
true.
Like you say, we've seen some interesting things. There's the Maiev ban. That was obvious, quite frankly. So now, we begin the game with a Dahaka. With Yrel already gone, solo laners become a higher priority here, and choosing Dahaka over someone like Blaze for the ganking potential.
Yeah, ganking potential can be super crucial. That's why you ban heroes like Genji and Maiev 100% on this map, because they can be ever so deadly. Kind of surprised me to see that we haven't really witnessed any Zeratul today. I also think that he could fit into that role quite well.
He was banned once. Otherwise, we have not seen him, like you said. So, it's fair. It is fair enough. So, Garrosh, Deckard, Kayn. Great team fight combo for TeamNut. Multiple got some silences in there. You've got the anti-healing. Some good value. Potentially 2 anti-healings, but no one ever picks that build path on Thrall. Not on Thrall. Thrall's picking the other team on Garrosh.
And yet another Nubarak here. I think Misaka really enjoyed his first try on that hero earlier in that previous series, and rightfully so. Nubarak, not only Zhuyu on CE, has proven us time and time again that he is currently in a very good spot when it comes to making those aggressive plays, But Misaka as well has had a really good time in locking down people, wrapping them in a nice, warm, comforting cocoon.
So now, with white main removed, as they already have Decade, they want to try and remove heroes who supports who give armor, because obviously that is not affected by the anti-heal of Decade Kane. So white main with her Aegis is always a danger, so it's why we see that as a priority ban. And Hammer being removed as well, we already know just how scary the Decade Hammer can be.
Yeah, I mean, SPT played it themselves earlier, and they absolutely went to town with it. So they themselves know exactly how dangerous that can be, especially on a relatively safe laning map like Brexus. And here we go. The Alrek makes it into the game yet again. So that's the third team now relying on Alrek, next to the A team, I believe, and BTG it was earlier.
It was RPG.
Oh, it was RPG, my mistake.
Yes, BTG and RPG. So almost all RG teams, but not in this case. Wait, is it all RG teams? BTG, RPG.
There's a lot of Gs.
Yes, it is. We have too many Gs. Too many E sounds. CESPT, RPG, DA team. That one was a stretch. The one. We have many E sounds. Now then, we have the Karazim and the Junkrat. Lots of disruption for the point here. Very standard draft from SPT. Nothing super special here.
Yeah, the only thing worth mentioning about that Karazim, in my opinion, is the fact that he is normally not your traditional, in-lane support when it comes to, keeping people sustained over a long period of time, because he runs out of mana relatively quickly if he doesn't go inside, which, admittedly, no one should ever do right now, in my opinion. Don't think the inside Karazim has a place, especially in the competitive meta. So, yeah, we don't really see any, let's say, Malfurions or White Mains as we saw them earlier here. So relying on the Karazim for extra kill potential and also countering the Garrosh a little bit with that 7-sided strike later on. Let's see what they can do with this.
Well then, with this composition set up, the Alarak is sort of the most out there pick if we had to guess. So I could see the potential is there for TeamNut, but SPT, they ain't messing around. They're so close to the top of the table. They've seen TeamNut have been able to do what seems like the impossible, so they want none of it.
Super crazy as well if you think about it, like during the first 2 weeks, how much of a crazy lead beyond the game was actually able to establish, and we had already called them the definite #1 spot of China, with I think at times they had 6 points of a lead here, and already them struggling a little bit and SPT looking ever so good. All things might change here, and SPT might even be able to defend their title, which at the beginning of the season we were like, no, this time it's not going to happen.
We are preparing to head into game #1 of our 5th series of the day. Can TeamNut upset SPT and potentially bring us into a bit of a problem for SPT in terms of making their way to the top of the table, or will SPT shut them down? For now, TeamNut on the left, Mercy, Atui, Malvael, Nightmare, and Dia.
And playing for the Super Perfect team are Lucky, Melody C, Misaka, Soap, and ZZH. And today has been a good day for ZZH in particular. He's been showing us some stellar support performance, earning him 1 MVP title already. And I think he's going to need that momentum. He's going to need that performance on Karazim. Karazim not always the easiest support to make work, given the fact that his timing, the target prioritization on the heals, everything needs to be tip-top in order to make this hero work. Now, looks like we're having that first gank in the top lane, but Lior continues to be that elusive character that with the Wraithwalk is super hard to kill.
Stays fine, at least for the moment. Spot lane, Junkrat versus Hanzo. Not the most conventional of bottom lanes for the moment, but nothing super special, at least for the moment, until everyone shows up. Malthael, no.
But I love what Malthael's doing.
Now he knows.
Yeah. Not only did he drop the Sonic arrow in time when it was needed, but also he stayed very close to that tower, to that gate. So the moment Anubrak would have burrow charged in, which would have been the go-to initiation spell, he could have immediately just dropped his Nature's Agility and get to safety. So that's exactly how you play as a solo laner when you know something is kind of fishy, when you know that no one is currently visible on that minimap. So kudos to Malthael for not giving in. And now looks like Nightmare is trying to scout the perimeter. Maybe they're going for a mercenary camp engage.
Root lands. No extra damage for the moment. Merlisi also still fine. They pull back.
Oh, for a moment I thought that dismount here with a concussion mine might have been enough to actually close the gap onto Mercy, but of course he still had a swap available. So even if Misaka had gone in aggressively, he probably would have escaped anyways. So very patient, very you know, calculated plays from both teams. ZZH going in, dodged the silence, which is huge.
They're tanking through for the moment, but Mercy is low. It's going to be Thrall who is first to fall, and that turns out to be a 1-for-1. Nice survivability by Alarak in that early stage, but he did go down in the end.
Yeah, Misaka decides that he hasn't had enough yet. He's trying to make that re-engage our reality. Atui so close to dying. The potions are good, but they're not good enough. Another dash coming in for ZZH, and he makes it out alive. Already a 2-for-1 trade in favor of SPT. Top laners, of course, have been, you know, continuing the solo laning up to this point, and it looks like Dahaka actually having a little bit of an edge here. You could see that he was controlling that top beacon for at least a little bit of time here. Lucky already rotating there as well.
Nightmare getting engaged on SPT, looking to continue their domination from game number 1, put more pressure. But this time, Nightmare will survive. Not level 4 yet, so no shield potion, so he won't get that extra armor value. And Mercy, in danger, gets rooted by the Fell Spirit, drops a counter silence, though, onto a very low health Kharazim.
Yeah, and not only is Kharazim now low on health, he's also low on mana, so he's going to have to teleport back to safety ASAP. They're probably going to hand over control of this bottom beacon for the time being, which is fine because they still have control over top lane. So the moment you have at least control over one beacon, that's actually when you can allow to, you know, restore your health, mana bars, get some sustain in there as well. Leoric, by the way, going for an interesting talent choice at level 1, going for the Fealty unto Death. So he's going to regenerate health and mana every single time a minion, whether it's a hostile or friendly, dies in his vicinity.
The problem with that is he's kind of getting outlaned right now. Dahaka and the rotations have been incredibly effective at dropping his health a little bit lower, so he's trying to contest the shrine, which means he does the beacon, which means he doesn't get minions, which means he is even squishier and easy to kill.
Yep, very true, and especially, like, that becomes a really crippling factor when you fight over the top beacon, for example, right? When there's no minions nearby. When you're fighting on the beacon, the minions are going to be too far away for you to benefit off Fealty unto Death. So in that case, you know, Dahaka becomes a little bit of a menace, deals more damage, you have less sustain for yourself. So yeah, it's an okay talent once again if you're struggling in lane, so you don't have to use your fountain in as much, but in overall tankiness, it's not really on par with the other two talents.
Now then, Dia is once again struggling. He's already lost both his front towers. How is he going to be able to move in against this many people? But the other question is, how long do SPT continue to plan to continue piling that pressure onto top lane when they could already have maybe taken bot? Instead, it looks like this is just a delay tactic. Soap's going to try and hold in against two heroes here, while the rest finish off this mercenary camp in the bottom, in the top lane.
Yeah, experience-wise, although TeamNut lost a couple of structures already, they're actually not too far behind, which is good news for them. So in terms of soaking and team fighting, they were doing a good job right now. Are they going to try and chase down ZZH? Nope, he's too fast to Furies, and he gets to safety. Now, level 7, by the way, locked in here for SPT. That's going to be a little bit of a boon during eventual early skirmishes.
Able to stay going, at least for the moment. There is the channel. Once again, onto the beacon. But top is still very much under the control of TeamNut. They're going to try and dive Malthael. Impale misses, though. Malthael calmly turns around and just pings a couple arrows at Kharazim on the way out.
Yeah, the Impale took a long time. As you mentioned, I think Misaka wasn't really sure whether he should continue this effort to hunt him down or whether he should abandon it. So they even had to use the Earth Ally here to potentially, you know, intercept any shots, any aggression from that fort.
Bottom beacon still under control of SPT. Top recaptured again by TeamNut.
This is probably one of the slowest Praxis hold-up games we've seen today. Both teams being extremely cautious, not really finding an opening and not really committing to create that space in the first place. But we continue to see this rotation up top, right, with Thrall always harassing and supporting Dahaka. Now Mercy even on the Alarak helping his own solo laner quite there as well. Good lockdown CC chain. Is one lightning going to be enough? I don't think it will.
Soap's getting drained. Hope taking a lot of damage, and Dia picks up the kill. Wraith walks that lightning. That makes it a 1-for-1. Thrall would not have been able to drop that lightning if it hadn't been for that minion that got baited into that bush.
Exactly. Minion MVP. Give it a promotion.
Not anymore. Doesn't exist.
Oh man, the good old days when here's like Tassadar, Tyrande, I believe, also did have it. Could promote minions and make them more powerful.
Oh, good damage on Lucky. Another Drain Hope kill. Dia is on fire. Mercy, though, not so lucky. That's another 1-for-1 trade. It's 3 kills to 5 in favor of SPT.
Yeah, but this time reinforcements for TeamNut have arrived on Misako. Uses the Burrow Charge to safety. Let's take a look at the talent build for Dahaka here. Does not have the movement speed available, so looks good for now. Beautiful symphony of pain coming in between Melody C and ZZH. And look at ZZH, by the way. He's doing such a good job, you know, teleporting back to base all the time, because we mentioned the difficulties of Karzim in terms of managing his mana and saving mana compared to other supports. So teleporting back to base all the time is crucial when playing these kinds of supports, especially when it's safe to do so. You know, you just kill an enemy hero, you're likely not going to find any more kills anytime soon. So why don't you use that time, just go back to base and get something useful done.
So gets tossed up with the Wrecking Ball, but doesn't have too much else happen as level 10 is hit for SPT first once again. Thrall stepping out of the comfort zone again a little bit here. Second Maelstrom weapon we have seen in HGC China.
Interesting. So the more Wind Fury auto attacks Thrall gets in, the more his damage is going to stack up. And look at that damage. Speaking of it, 7-sided onto Garrosh. Is it going to be enough? He's blinded and slowed as well by the isolation. The Earth Ally yet again protecting Misaka there. The grenades are coming in to get the kill on Malthael, but he escapes for now. Can't say the same thing about Atui though. 2-for-0, and the Zerg wave is already on the way for SPT.
It's going to try to push in aggressively for the top, but it's already taken a fair amount of damage. Good jobs by Leo and Mercy up here. So what can they do? They're going to try and burn it down. Here comes the rotation from SPT.
Oh, they're going to get
dove. You already see Malthael has moved. There's the Wraith Walk onto Dia, but Misaka dives forward. They don't get the knock-up. And March of the Black King actually being used here. Dia is tanking through this, but will finally go down.
Yeah, nice attempt actually by Mercy. Oh, here comes a Dragon's Arrow from No Man's Land onto Soap, but he's tanking through. He still has all the essence needed to survive this beautiful dodge onto the root there as well. ZZH is silent, dashes to safety though, just in the nick of time. And all of a sudden, SPT is on full retreat because they have used all of their cooldowns, all of their abilities, and they have nothing really left here to turn this fight.
And with that, SPT continue to control the map. They weren't able to kill the fort yet. The top one is super low, but they need to wait for their opportunity. Or, you know, just kill Leoric and go from there. Leoric will go down, and that's probably almost certainly going to guarantee the fort with an Alarak kill. Just waiting for them. Served up on a white platter as they dive forward. Impale, Sundering, Burrow Charge. Interrupted, actually. Counter-Strike is good, but with the isolation, they were easily able to get the blow-up.
Well, now SPT is just showing off. Every ability lands in the almost exact perfect way. Wraithwalk used just in time to escape the fangs of a Nuvarak. Yeah, cool move actually that we saw earlier. First time I've ever seen that in professional play. Alaric trying to actually shove people into the into the March of the Black King of Leoric so he would leech up for more health. In the end, it wasn't enough though, but a valiant effort nonetheless.
We see the Merc camp being picked up by SPT. They have literally full control of the map at this point. Nightmare's going to back up. Steel Trap for good measure. And this mercenary camp will be taken as well.
At this point, I wonder if they could actually afford to go for the boss. I don't think they can right now, however, though, because still some of their abilities are on cooldown, some of their heroic abilities. Most importantly, the Sundering, which is a very important boss domination tool. And also, you always have to ask yourselves, if you're a team with a lead like SPT has right now, is it really worth giving that one window of opportunity for the enemy team, potentially wiping us at the boss? You know, isn't it safer if we just take mercenary camp after mercenary camp and try to deal additional damage onto the structures? It looks like SPT is exactly sharing that point of view, that they're not really taking any unnecessary risks right now.
Another Bruiser camp being picked up. Those Goliaths going to be pushing into the bot lane. Going to time it very well with the objective. In fact, they might even get the Fire Bats. Yeah, they'll easily get the Fire Bats. So even more pressure onto the lanes of TeamNut. So they have to fight the beacons and the minion waves before group up behind those Mercs.
Yeah, and of course, you know, push lanes also give you vision, so SPT will know exactly how many members TeamNut is going to apply where on the map, so they can find that good opening. Maybe a numbers advantage gank as well. So vision is definitely key here. As you said, it also keeps TeamNut, you know, occupied. They can't immediately contest the beacons. And as such, it wouldn't surprise me if SPT was actually charging up the Zerg meter for quite some time.
Quick tunnel out by Misaka. Keeps himself nice and safe, at least for the moment. There's Nightmare.
Flank incoming.
Nice cocoon as they just dive forward. Good telekinesis by Mercy, though. And now it's all about Garrosh. Can they get him out? Lornado will buy him a tiny bit of time. 7-sided gets the shield. Flee Garrosh. He finally goes down. Sundering, good ability, yo.
Yeah, it's a good ability, but I almost thought Garrosh would actually make it, which would have been so huge because he would have absorbed almost every single heroic ability they have here for SPT. And now, with the main tank no longer available, they need to be aware of potential, you know, diving, flanking attempts from SPT, but they stay safe behind the fort right now, and they do not lose any additional members.
The quick drain onto Soap. Drag's good, though. They're actually trading pretty evenly, but Dia started lower, so he has to back up.
Yeah, Soap is in absolute control here. Dia, is he going to have another Wraith Walk available? He decides that it's safer to teleport back because the Wraith Walk was probably still on cooldown. So that looked a little silly, looked a little goofy, but it was still the best way for him to potentially make an escape happen.
He could have just run all the way back to base and he would have been fine, but no, not in this case. So Misaka spots Nightmare, decides not to hard engage, at least at this stage.
All right, without Leorki, how much can SPT actually achieve here? They catch someone, they catch Thrall, they throw him back and taunt him. That's a good pick.
It was a very good pick. Nicely done here, able to pick up that kill. We're also seeing, by the way, the Unyielding Despair by Leoric on level 13. Riptire almost makes it.
Almost.
Yeah, extra cooldown reduction coming in for the Drain Hope.
Cooldown reduction at 13 and extra damage after a full channel at level 16 turns Leoric into a very scary late game tank burner, if you will. Now, speaking of things to burn, that Zerg wave is going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt if they can't dispose of it quickly enough here. A little bit of damage already dealt onto the secondary tower defense line. However, Thrall is nowhere to be found. And Dehaka is still on the top lane, so this might be a good window of opportunity for TeamNut to maybe make something happen here with a good Lornado.
Misaka tunnels out, keeps himself safe. You see a little bit of a hover by Leoric, but he's already leaving. Needs to get back to Soak Experience top lane, as this was a pretty effective Zerg clear. Not bad by TeamNut at all. However, they're still 2 levels behind, and Leoric is still being bullied.
Still being bullied by not just Soap, but also Thrall. Thrall, who is on his way to reinforce the gank yet again. By the way, Leoric didn't even go for hold that thought. Garrosh is in pain, is in trouble, is in the grave. We didn't even see Leoric go for Hopelessness at level 7, which is the normal standard choice. It is the additional life value, or drain value, you should say, coming in there.
The additional healing, which I guess with the reduced cooldown is going to make him tankier. I think that's the idea, combo that, but it's certainly not better for a Death March combo. I guess, once again, I guess maybe it is. It would make him tankier, I guess.
Yeah,
Saka walks into the root, Lornado. But yeah, that doesn't do anything. Dia still dies.
Denied. Riptire cutting off the flight path here, and with Garrosh only now respawning and Leoric still struggling. Oh, that is a risky play by Mercy. Good thing he had that escape available. Yeah, that is going to be a mighty rough defense now. Look at that. The Goliaths are here, and now we have the Archangel boss also making his move towards that defense line. That is going to be a tough defense, a tough hold for TeamNut.
Tempest Fury coming in for Thrall, even more Wind Fury value.
Yep.
So wants a little bit more damage. Used to throw lightning for the moment. So actually does want to get stuck in, as opposed to trading out a little bit of poke.
A little bit of a wasted attack here on the boss. Sometimes it gets baited by a wall piece like that. Cocoon is good on Garrosh. The dive on the back line.
They find the Tui. Drag is easy. Dragon Arrow is a little bit late. And that is the quick pickup coming in here.
Yeah, that's what happens when you don't have a dedicated Cocoon popper, you know? You don't have those Li Mings, you don't have those Tychuses here. But now, it's just a heyday, right? I mean, the base is wide open. SPT is still moving in with the boss. So much AoE damage coming in from Melody C on Junkrat as well. They just pop one person after the other. And with that being said, you know, everybody's still looking pretty juicy, pretty healthy. Full health bars all across the board for SPT. Junkrat is fighting off his Overwatch brother, Hanzo. But yeah, that is a Molten Core.
Lucky has completed Maelstrom Weapon, and therefore they can now end the game. They are able to get the full team wipe and finish off TeamNut in game number 1. And as such, SPT, they've secured at least 1 point. Good news for them. Yep.
How to play?
Themselves only 1 point behind BTG.
Super solid. All they need is 1 more point, and SPT, for the first time in this ongoing phase, will be at the pole position. Well deserved after today's performances. I'm not going to lie. I think out of all the teams we saw today, and we've seen a couple of one-sided games today already, unfortunately, for those lower tier teams, SPT has looked the cleanest. I think they show no signs of weakness whatsoever. From start to finish, they go for those strong rotations, strong ganks, and as a result, they end up dominating all the lanes.
I agree. I think you are correct. SPT, again, they are a team that started off shaky and have just got better as the season goes on. As always seems to happen. I don't know what it is about the start of seasons, but China just doesn't like them. Yeah,
maybe it's, you know, getting used to the meta, whether it's, you know, getting used to all the new players, because in China there has been traditionally a steady flux of players, you know, leaving teams, joining teams, because unlike in the other regions, we have roster swaps, position swaps after every phase, right? So that is a little bit hard to get used to sometimes. But yeah, as we said it many times, just like in Heroes of the Storm, you know, if you mess up in the early game, it's not always game deciding. The late game is what matters. And if SPT decides to show up here in the late game of this ongoing phase, then they're probably going to be on top of it.